So, good day to everyone. So, before we start our discussion, simulan muna natin ito sa isang pre-assessment. Direction. With the use of chathead from Messenger, answer the following question. Choose the letter of the best answer. And after I count 1 to 5, you need to send it through our group chat. So, number 1, seat work. Identify if it is A. Assessment for learning, B. Assessment of learning, or C. Assessment as learning. Number 2. Reflection. A. Assessment for learning, B. Assessment of learning, or C. Assessment as learning. Number 3. Periodical test. A. Assessment for learning, B. Assessment of learning, or C. Assessment as learning. Number 4, scrapbook. A. Assessment for learning, B. Assessment of learning, or C. Assessment as learning. And lastly, number 5, semifinals. Assessment for learning, or B. Assessment of learning, or C. Assessment as learning. So now that you are done answering pre-assessment, you can now send your answer in our group chat. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So our topic for this afternoon is all about the 3 types of assessment. So before we start, what is assessment? Assessment is a systematic basis for making inferences about the learning and developing of students. It is a process of defining, collecting, designing, analyzing, interpreting, and using information to increase student learning and development. So with the use of assessment daw po, ito yung ginagamit ng mga guro para malaman daw po natin kung na-develop daw po ba yung kaalaman ng ating mga estudyante. Malaman natin kung tumataas ba yung kanilang mga nalalaman through giving an assessment. So, why is it important? Assessment is very important for tracking progress, planning next topic, reporting, and involving parents, children, and young people in learning. Assessment covers the way teachers support and assess children's learning and monitor progress and identify next step in learning. So, importante nga daw po ang assessment dahil ito daw po ay nagbibigay ng way para malaman natin kung nagkakaroon ba ng progress ng estudyante. And as a teacher, nagkakaroon tayo ng idea how to do a next step or bagong planning kung paano natin i-report at the same time kung paano natin pinapakita sa mga magulang at sa mga estudyante na yung dating ganito is nag-i-improve na yung kakayahan at knowledge na nakukuha ng bata. So there is 3 types of assessment. Assessment for learning, assessment of learning, and assessment as learning. So let's start with assessment for learning. For sa Tagalog, para. So assessment para sa pagkatuto. So assessment for learning occurs before we go to the next topic or lesson to know the progress and to know the learning gaps. So, ginagawa daw ang assessment for learning bago tayo tumungo sa susunod na lesson. Para saan? Para malaman natin yung progress ng isang bata. Para bago tayo tumungo sa next lesson is malaman natin kung meron pa ba silang hindi natutunan o naintindihan about sa last topic. At the same time, ginagawa ang assessment for learning para mas ma-improve pa nating mga guro ang pagtuturo. For example, binigay nating assessment bago tumungo sa lesson, meron pa pala hindi naiintindihan ang mga estudyante mo. So, one of the possible reason is baka hindi effective ang ating pagtuturo. Dahil sa binigay nating assessment o maaari natin ito i-improve at muling ituro sa ating mga estudyante. So, we use assessment for learning whether to reteach or to move on to the next topic or lesson. So, saan daw ginagamit ang assessment for learning? Ginagamit natin ito para malaman if pwede na tayo tumungo sa next lesson o baka need pa daw natin bilang guro ang magbigay ng new information at muling ituro ito sa ating mga estudyante. So ilan sa mga halimbawa ng assessment for learning na binibigay ng mga guro natin ay ang quiz, diagnostic test, pretest at marami pa. So question, nire-record ba daw ang result ng assessment for learning? Well, assessment for learning results are recorded but not graded. Ito daw po ay nire-record ng ating mga guro pero hindi binibigyan ng puntos. So basically, assessment for learning is done to improve the teaching and learning process. Now, tumungo naman tayo sa second type of assessment which is assessment of learning. Of sa Tagalog ay ng. So, assessment ng pagkatuto o assessment ng natutunan. We use assessment of learning to determine what does a student have learned in a unit para malaman natin kung may natutunan sila within the quarter or unit. Kung nagawa na ba nila yung objective, kung na-target na ba natin yung objective natin bilang guro. Dito natin malalaman yon sa pagbibigay ng assessment of learning. So, assessment of learning done with the end of every unit or chapter in order to certify student confidence. So, binibigay ito sa dulo na isang quarter or unit para malaman kung ano ang alam at magagawa ng estudyante. So, example is periodical test. Para sa mga college is prelim, midterm, semifinals, finals, chapter test, achievement test, mga ganon. Another question uli, nire-record ba daw ang assessment of learning? And yes, recorded and graded po ang ating assessment of learning. So pumunta na po tayo sa last type of assessment, which is assessment as learning. As sa Tagalog ay bilang. So, assessment bilang pagkatuto. Pag sinabing assessment as learning, ito ay self-assessment. It is done by the student and teacher as well. So for example, ako yung estudyante. Through assessment as learning, aalamin ko kung ano yung mga natutunan ko within the lesson, quarter, ganon. Pero kung teacher naman ako, aalamin ko kung nagawa ko ba bilang guro ang role ko na magturo sa aking mga estudyante. Pag sinabing assessment as learning, ito ay continuous learning o continuous process ng pagkatuto na kung saan hindi daw ito nagtatapos. We always have assessment as learning to assess ourselves. Ilan sa mga halimbawa nito ay ang reflection and reaction paper, insight, and scrapbook. Assessment as learning is the highest form of assessment, and this is used to monitor their own learning progress. And dyan na po nagtatapos ang aking reporting about sa assessment for learning, assessment as learning, and assessment of learning. So this is Crystal Jan Malupra from St. Paul College's Foundation and soon to be a licensed professional teacher. Thank you.